You're invited to the SV Focus Lab, September 11th through the 13th, 2025 in Fayetteville, Arkansas, or online as a hybrid. It's going to be 3 days of fun, hanging out, socializing with fellow EFTers as we join you on the leading edge, studying advanced nuance in EFT, hanging out with George Fowler, Dr. James Hawkins, myself, Chad, and Angela Imhoff. You're invited to join us for the SV Focus Lab.
All right, Ryan, I'm excited. We get to do a series. We're just going to camp out talking about what is stage 2, what happens in stage 2, and not even just like measuring clients for stage 2, but what does it mean for us to shift how we've been showing up with our clients in stage 2 of EFT.
Welcome to the Leading Edge in Emotionally Focused Therapy with your hosts, Dr. James Hawkins and Dr. Ryan Rana. EFT is a dynamic model that humbles even the most seasoned therapists. Together, we want to come alongside you as you continually push the leading edge of your understanding and application of this wonderful model developed by Dr. Sue Johnson.
Yeah, y'all. So it's good to have you back in the studio, Ryan. It's good for me to be in here. Feel like we've had a little time off in the summer. And I'm excited to come back and talk about this. You know, we've both been on the road. What did I do? I said something.
I haven't noticed any time off this summer.
Oh, no, you sure?
You have
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
But, you know, and we've been, and it's always a joy when we get to, and I do mean that, like when we get to go out in the field, and that's what I call it, it's our being military here, and we get to see therapists eye to eye, it's honoring. So one, I know we start off with thank you, and just thank you, because every time I look in your eyes, it makes me want to keep learning EFT. It never lets me settle. You ask questions that make me think. And you know what's been happening to me, Ryan? People listen to this podcast so much now, they're asking me more refined questions, because they're like, hey, you talked about this on episode this, and this. Yeah. Could you clarify that now that you... Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's a good question. We need to go back to the drawing board. So thank you for that pushing, helping us push our edge as well too.
Absolutely. And my thanks, you know, so I've done externship, core skills 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh my
all
gosh.
those training in 19 days. So just like over the top exhausted. I finished core skills 4 online Friday. So shout out to my new friends in Spokane.
All right.
Washington and Indianapolis, the birth of a new community.
Man, that's
cool. Great week. Course skills filled within 48 hours. So lots of fun stuff happening here. Graduated 17 out of a course skills group. They're doing a great job. What they all have in common, which is also my thank you, is just how deeply they care for people, how they want to go deep. They want to stay deep with people. They trust emotion. And that is not so common. So thank you for that.
Man, thank you, Ryan. And you know, when you said that, here's what came up in my mind. I appreciate this. I want to give you credit, Ryan, for sure on this. And yeah, I definitely have seen it a lot from you. And George, I've heard it from him too. Even it reminded me of why we do this podcast, you all. And one thing for me and Ryan is what I love about EFT. Sue and the early trainers did a lot of work to build this model. And they had to work with, they didn't have all this tango and stages and maps. They were building as they were flying. And so there's a lot of work they just had to intuitively learn and kind of teach people to intuit the model. And we still need to keep an element of that, because you can't remove that part. You know, we've talked about train your instinct so you can trust them. But also what we get to do now as a benefit of the hard work people have done before us is to come back with some of the nuance now and some of the intentionality and microfocus. And so what we're going to talk about today is, we keep hearing on the road, people are like, what is stage 2? I don't understand the difference. And you see them, maybe the mistake they make is they're trying to push a stage 1 client too far, too soon, too quickly. And they're like, what happened there? I was like, oh, you had to back that up. I'm like, wow, I couldn't see that. How do I thought I was supposed to push all the way down to their views of self and ask for their needs. Yes, when it's appropriate. And then when in stage 2, I'm like, hey, you had more juice to get there. I wish you would have stayed for about 5, I wish you would have tried 3 more rounds of assembly to see if you could deepen that sadness to some kind of despair or sorrow, and then attach it to their attachment fear. They're like, And so me and Ryan just said, well, you know what? We got to go back and let's do a series on nothing but stage 2 and getting that clear, because you all are out there fighting for people to have success and vulnerability. Did you like that one right there?
I did.
And so we want to make sure it's like, I was a military member, and I always wanted to make sure my troops, before they got for a mission, have they been adequately trained and have they been adequately equipped? Because if they haven't, then that's on me as a leader. So this is me and Ryan, and I know the rest of the EFT community is doing this as well. We just want to help add more nuance to make sure you're thoroughly equipped with the knowledge and skills to do stage 2. And so with that, we got something new today. Spoiler alert, it's a new acronym. But once again, the reason why we do acronyms, you all, is just to help you memorize complex information in a short and condensed form. Yeah. If you don't like acronyms, set it aside and don't use it. If it helps your brain, have fun with it. Mm-hmm. So Ryan, what's the acronym for today?
Yeah, so when we're testing for de-escalation, right? We think we're out of stage 1, we're ready for stage 2. Just like James said, warning. A lot of times, especially if you're in your first 5 years with the model, oftentimes it's we're being a little impatient. Mm-hmm. EFT is about really being where people are, not where you want them to be. You've got to trust that working with the here and now, where they are in their cycle, where they are in their interpersonal, intrapsychic experience. I've got to be fully there, and I've got to trust that process. That's not so easy. So, but if we are there or getting there, also the warning is your couples will often think that they're done. There's one marker. It's like, I think do we need to keep coming back? Mm-hmm. And that's a marker that they may be getting close to stage 2. We can talk about what to say in those moments. But anyway, I made up an acronym, 5 trainings back, and the acronym is SAFE. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so SAFE, the S stands for see the moves of the cycle and the impact on all.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So not only know your cycle, but seeing the impact on each other. So that is that cognitive piece. That is the 3 Ps.
I like it. It's cognitive, but it is challenging because for some of the clients I've seen in stage 1, when you try to invite them to see the impact, it can flood them out in shame, or they just don't feel safe taking that in because I don't want to look at the impact of my actions. I want them to see what they're doing to me.
Yep.
Yeah. I like that.
When I say it's cognitive, it's actually not. It's a little bit of both.
It is.
It can still be experiential because, a couple's ability to come up on the whiteboard and draw out their cycle, I don't do that, but I know some people do, is important. But more importantly, when we're in the cycle, can you hold a little bit of awareness? So I've got a couple right now that we're in session 12. We had 3 good weeks. We had a setback, very predictable stuff. And I'm down in the cycle with them today. It started off with a story, then we brought it here and now as we're supposed to do in EFT. And, as we're checking in on stuff, when the emotion would sort of take a break, I would say, in that moment, were you able to be aware of how this is coming across? Right? So I'm trying to increase the experiential awareness of S, which is seeing the moves of the cycle and the impact on all. Mm-hmm. And then A is access. So do we have access to deep vulnerability, and can they stay deep? Mm-hmm. So this is a really common misconception. I still hear this not everywhere, but many, many places. And I'm not sure why. Maybe someone will send me an email or correct me or something, but a lot of people still think that the deep work in EFT is not until stage 2. Mm. That's not true at all. I mean, old school step 3, not tango, but step 3 was taking deep dives into vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Primary emotion was the name of step 3. So trying to go get the deep emotion that sits below that cycle. Now, qualifier, we understand that a lot of stage 1 couples can't do that, and that's fine.
That's right.
We'll continue to work systemically. Mm-hmm. We'll continue to work with the cycle, and just, you're touching step 3. You're touching vulnerability and doing enactments, those sort of things. But we're also trying to go deep and stay deep.
That's right.
And so when we have depth on both sides that both people can deepen, that's one of the indicators. Like, oh, well, we may be having enough muscle here to consider these big change events. Mm-hmm.
My favorite quote on that one came from Leanne that helps me. She said, and I'm probably paraphrasing, sorry, Leanne, it won't sound as eloquent. We're always we're always respecting their window of tolerance while we're trying to stretch their window of tolerance. So in stage 1, you got to start the stretching process because there won't be any room for work in stage 2 if you don't stretch.
Yep. And clients' bodies will surprise you sometimes.
That's right.
Sometimes they can go deeper than you think they can. The only danger is when you try to take them deep, they block you out and you just keep pressing.
Yeah.
That's where it can take you backwards.
Can I say a statement to you, Ryan? And I'm going to feel vulnerable now. I said it to a group. What I say is in stage 1, you got to be careful about deepening one partner also past the capacity of the other partner to be with them. And the reason why I reflected that is my mistake was in stage 1, because pursuers will give me a lot of words and energy, and I'll just keep staying like, and tell me more, and tell me more. And what I missed sometimes was the withdrawers over there freaking out, like, where the hell are we going? I did not know we were going this deep, this fast. Like, it's caught? Like, it happened to me a couple weeks, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I took this one partner past where your limbic system could hold space. Now, I'm not saying that's completely, but I went way outside the zone. So that means I need to rein that back in.
Yeah, or at least be aware of that.
Okay.
But I just like what you just did it because you pivoted. Wait, what was the quote again, though?
Leanne's, we want to respect.
Yours.
Oh, which one? Oh, got you. We want to be cautious about taking one partner into a depth of experience that goes way beyond the other partner's capacity to be with them.
Yeah, I like
because then if I set it up for an enactment, I say, could you turn right now? What happens in your body? Nothing. I completely lost it 10 minutes ago and I'm flooded.
Yeah, nice. I like the word way. Taking people a little bit past it is good.
That's right.
Leading edge. But way past it, now that can have a kickback effect. So now because we've gone way past it, the system's going to overcorrect. And now we're going to possibly hurt people. So I think it is a very important thing to study closely, move by move. Right. So the S is see the moves of the cycle. The A is access, accessing deep emotion, vulnerability, and starting to be able to stay deep. And we'll give you.
He said starting to be able to.
Starting to, yep. And we'll give you the last two after this commercial break.
It's an honor for Ryan and I to get to come to you on these airwaves, to meet you where you are with you and your clients who are pushing the leading edge in your clinical work. And we're thankful for this opportunity and for the work that you do. And we want to invite you that if you believe in the concepts of this podcast and you find them helpful, as we do, we just invite you to be able to invest and to help keep this mission and this project going. You can support us by going on Venmo and looking for @Left Podcast. That's at LEFT PODCAST Left Podcast. And you can show your support. Once again, if you yourself are in a hard position or you serve maybe less resource population and therefore it affects your fees, please don't worry about giving. Just continue to enjoy. But if you can, we invite you to help support this mission and keep it going. Thank you so much.
Let's sort what just happened right there. I like that. I was talking about accessing deep vulnerability, and you said starting to. So what do you mean by that?
Because we're not trying to oversell. That goes back to that spectrum. Sometimes in stage 1, you just have to recognize, like, hey, we just started. We fought for a couple of sessions to even get the cycle clear. So the fact that I just got the person to say, I get confused, maybe that's all they got, and I'll work with confusion. But then as we progressively go through stage 1, which I like what you're saying, it can begin to deepen. I was like, I get confused. And not only do I get confused, I get really afraid. Oh, it's like, well, you went somewhere deeper today. Okay. And it's that progression. So I like that you said it's even just a start and we're trying to see how far we can go. And then we'll go further with this.
I like it. And I just want to balance that with, don't forget, this is the old professor in me coming out. Today's session might be your last. So if you got it, let's go. So I just want to balance those two.
No, I like that, Ryan, because I remember you said that one time. It's you said, don't kick the can down the road.
Right. I mean, if someone drops in, like I'm coming too,
Yep.
I'm not going to be the one that pulls us out of emotion. That's a little pledge I got.
And I got one more from Sue on that one. Sue would say, use all of your clients' limbic tolerance that they have every single session.
Yep. And going back one to S, see all the moves of the cycle and the impact. I also want to say, I had people say, "Oh, they know their cycle, and we're in session 7." There's no chance that's true. Not the way I define know the cycle. Okay, so knowing your cycle is like learning to drive. You can be aware, well, here's where you sit and here's what the pedals are. But knowing your cycle, that a truly de-escalated relationship is like knowing how to move the pedals and knowing where to sit and how stop signs work.
That's
and
good.
That makes sense. So,
Yes, it
so when
does.
we're talking about knowing the cycle, we're going beyond just the knowledge of it. We want an experiential, because that's where it's going to work. To stop that thing out in the wild, you've got to experientially know it, not just have awareness of it. So anyway, back to the acronym. S, see the moves of the cycle and the impact on all. A, access deep vulnerability, beginning to stay deep, and even staying deep at the very end as a way to get us across that line. F, maybe this might be the most important one, and that is a flexible response to partners' protective moves.
Whoa.
Yep. So if my partner gets critical when they're under pressure, am I going to have a rigid response, or can I stay flexible under that heat? That's a pretty high bar.
That is.
For de-escalation.
That is. I mean, you know what? I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do in therapy, I'd never thought about it this. I love when I can see a couple do something different. I'll say, hold on. Last week, this threw you completely into the cycle. But your partner said that thing right here, right now. And you're like, I understand. That's different, y'all. And I love to point those things out.
Beautiful.
Sometimes I might do an enactment with it. Sometimes I just want you to see that. So we'll stay on this trail. But I just need you to know I saw you change there.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I would argue that the therapist shouldn't miss those moments. The only risk is sometimes that positive energy can take them out of emotion.
Bingo.
But I think it's a worthwhile risk, because that's a conditioning thing. That's Gail's piece of reflect what you want more of, that sort of things.
And if I'm being honest, some of it is one partly just because I'm happy and it's truly me rejoicing with them. And sometimes it's I'm going to resource you now because we're going to go for more.
Okay, nice, yeah. So that flexible response is, if my partner gets critical and I turn and walk away, or I bark back, or whatever it is, that would be more of a rigid response. A flexible response would look or sound like, I don't love it when you get critical, but I'm starting to understand this is actually how you fight for us, right? And then maybe you even enacting me to tell my partner that, to say, hey, if you need to get critical, go ahead. I understand. I see what you're doing now. I know you're not trying to hurt me. We'll find a way to come back to each other. If you can get me to say that and mean that, I'm giving you major evidence that I or we are in a de-escalated place.
That's brilliant. And we know on the other side, it's kind of hard to be critical when the person gives you permission, because then your nervous system says, hey, it gives them permission. You can be vulnerable. You don't have to protect yourself.
Yeah. And this is George's material. I want to make sure he gets credit for that. But it's also a major, I'm not going to say it's a major change event, but it is quite a thing to have someone do that if they can. Because think about that. Like it's really sort of unconditional love in action. For me to turn to my partner and be like, hey, even the thing that is sort of the worst part of you, I still love you. Like, that's a big moment.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big moment. It's one of the few times for me that I'm passing something other than emotion, although it is kind of an experience. But it's
risky.
It is risky, and I've had it blocked several times.
I bet.
And that was the couple letting me know we're not quite ready.
Good assessment.
Yep. Come back into affect assembly. We need more reps.
Yep.
Rolling through those deadly attachment messages and emotion. And so reps are important. So F is a flexible response pattern to partner's protection move, which leads us to E, which is enough experiential corrections. So I had someone one time send me a video. This is years ago. Saying, hey, is this certification worthy? I'm like, all right, well, let's take a look. And the person said, this is stage 2. I'm like, I heard that before, but okay. And I'm like, what session are we in? They're like, session 7. And first I'm like, no, we're off there. And so then what the person said was, with this pursuer, I've gone deep with this person like multiple times a session. Now with the withdrawer, not so much yet. I'm like, man, we're just getting started in stage 1. So very disoriented there. with how stages and steps works in the model. But, and again, I'm just going to throw out numbers here. But generally speaking, when a couple moves from stage 1 to stage 2, we've finished the mission on both sides many, many times. Maybe 10 or 15 per side, easily. In other words, we've been able to go deep. They've been able to start the process of staying deep longer. They can turn in the pain, do an enactment. They can take in some love. It doesn't always have to be the most drastic thing ever, but we've done that over and over and over and over. If that's not true, you don't want to go into stage 2. You don't want to go that deep with people whose instincts are completely trained by the cycle. All you're going to do is do damage. So I want to talk people out of wanting to go to stage 2 before the couples have enough corrective experiences in stage 1.
Yeah. I appreciate this, Ryan. I think it's another short and condensed way to help people in their mind. With this acronym, I think it would help me, like, if I'm sitting there, like, so can y'all hold on 1 second? And I could go through that, like, okay, S, A, F. Yeah, y'all, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is where we've been, this is where we've done. And I think that our treatment probably needs to change a little bit. And then that's where I would give them my stage 2 kind of informed but having this in the back of my mind kind of helps me. Or it might be like, no. So next session we'll probably work on this to check this part. Maybe I'll do the flexibility test kind of thing.
There you go.
So you got me another one right there.
I like it between sessions.
I like that too.
You know, if I'm like, man, where are we here? Do you think they're quite ready? I'm like, well, do they see all the moves? Do they know each other's impact? You don't have to guess. You can ask.
And when I was a medic, one of the things we have to do as an ambulance rider when we would do practice, we would have to go to the instructor. They would give us a scenario. We'd be like, scene safe? Is the scene safe? And if they don't give us a cue that the scene is safe, then we say, well, we can't go in to help the patient yet. Or the instructor will say, yes, scene safe, now proceed. So you could do the same thing. Is the scene safe for stage 2? Scene safe?
Yeah.
Then safe, proceed. If not, then where do we go back to? Oh, it's the F. Let's check the F. They're not flexible towards their partner's protection.
I think that's a good rubric.
That's good.
If you're going to use it that way, I think it's really, really helpful.
Okay.
And this is nothing new.
No.
But, if I'm like, well, where are, these two people? And, it's like, well, do they see the moves of the side? They know the 3 Ps? Do they realize that the very thing I do to make this better by going away actually rips my partner in their greatest fear? Do they know that? And then, have I gone deep on both sides some? That's a really important one.
Yeah.
Right? And then the big one, how flexible are we? Can we stay relatively slow even in the presence of protection? Or does it go 100 miles an hour and have a rigid response? And then how many missions have we finished? Meaning like completed processing of an enactment on both sides. If we have all 4 of those things, you start to go, hey, we're probably ready. Let's go find that withdrawer. Let's change us, as we're going to talk about next episode.
There we go.
Let's go start digging.
All right, y'all. So I want to thank you, Ryan, for that. Appreciate you. Hey, as we get ready to go into the Stage 2 series, if you have specific Stage 2 questions, feel free to email me at DocHawkLPC. That's DOCHAWK. LPC.com. And I probably won't be the one that reads it and answers it. That probably will be Nicola, the lovely voice you hear at the beginning of this podcast. But I'm excited for this series and us working with you on it. Once again, we want to appreciate you and thank you. Keep pushing your leading edge.
Thank you for listening. We hope this experience helps you push the leading edge in your work to help people connect with themselves and with each other. Please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5-star review. You can contact us at pushtheleadingedge@gmail.com, and you can follow us on our Facebook page at Push the Leading Edge. You can follow Ryan on Facebook at Ryan Rana Professional Training and on his website, ryanranatraining.com. You can follow James on Facebook and Instagram at DocHawkLPC. You can also check out his website, DocHawkLPC.com.